Hello everyone, it's me, Gilda Wabbit, and welcome to another episode of Wabbit, Wuview of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 4! Season 4, yes. I'm gonna commit to that, and if I'm incorrect, I'll find out later. Let's get into it. So we opened the show on a scene where all of the girls are in the dressing room, and once again, Valentina is mourning the fact that she had to send Pheromone home. I get really annoyed at this because I feel like every episode of an all-star season, there's a girl going, "It's so hard to send my sisters home." And like, I get it. It probably is hard, but is it at all interesting to talk about that anymore? Don't we know already? Don't we empathize as an audience? Also, didn't you sign up for this? You know what All Stars is, girl. There have been 4 seasons now. This is the 4th season. You know, you saw, you understand. Anyway, something that was interesting that happened was the drama between Monet and Trinity about costumes. And I have to say, I'm not sure if I kept it in the edit of my last Wabbit review. I legitimately thought that Monet's lip sync look was strange. And I wonder if this is just like a New York girl thing where like, when they have money and when they have designers, they can look amazing. Do you know what I mean? Monet looked amazing on the runway. Monet has looked amazing at the press events for All Stars. But when it's something that they pick and put together themselves, it's not so great. And Monet did have a designer make her costume, the wonderful P. Rite Victory black and white striped on Instagram out of New York City. But Monet sort of styled it with that wig and then didn't really put any jewelry on it. And I just thought that it was so, like, the taste level was missing. And as a New York girl, I think that about New York a lot. Like you have like sort of 2 crews in New York. Girls who focus a lot on just like the bar shows and like being really good entertainers and having funny mixes and being able to host a show. And then you also have girls that are like club girls who like turn looks all the time and are ready to go. And the 2 don't always mix. And so I think that there's a taste level issue in New York City. We had the same thing happen with Alexis Michelle. When she has money and designer, she can look amazing, but when she's doing stuff herself, questionable. And I honestly think the same for me. I think that I look pretty most of the time, but I wouldn't call myself a detail-oriented look girl. And right away, we're told that the challenge this week is the Snatch Game of Love, where each girl has to impersonate a celebrity and do her best to win the heart of one lovely snatchler. Now, I think this is a really clever twist on the Snatch Game to sort of freshen things up, especially if we're going to be getting Drag Race in as many seasons as we've gotten in a year. We want something that's not just standard Snatch Game. So this is really cool. And I think it's going to be a lot more successful than the gaff-in that happened on All Stars 1. So I'm very, very excited. Now we get to talking about who the girls are going to be doing for Snatch Game. First of all, very, very excited for Valentina's Eartha Kitt. I love Eartha Kitt. One of my favorite singers, one of my favorite actresses. She's a crazy, kooky woman with a wild history. And Valentina is so in your face and so strange and so eccentric that I think the Valentina is really gonna kill this. We also have Monet talking about doing Whitney Houston. Now Monet destroyed Snatch Game her season as Maya Angelou. So this is gonna be interesting. I'm very excited to see her as Whitney Houston, an iconic woman, someone who should definitely be celebrated. And with Monet's ability to sort of like take Maya Angelou's dignified character and poke fun at the other girls, I think that using Whitney is going to be really, really fucking funny. Oh, there's drama between Gia and Trinity Taylor because they both want to do Caitlyn Jenner. Now, I'm kind of over the Trinity Taylor, like, oh, I'm going to do a Snatch Game character of somebody who's had lots of plastic surgery. Like, we get it, girl, you're made of silicone. We can tell every time you lip sync because the face doesn't move. I also think it's interesting that Gia wants to do Caitlyn because Gia is a woman of trans experience. And so we'll bring something, I think, like fresh and interesting to a portrayal of Caitlyn. However, all of the other girls encouraged Gia to do someone other than Caitlyn Jenner, which I think is interesting. Nobody took Gia's side here. But Gia says, it's okay, I've got Jenny Bowie, who I personally don't know who the fuck Jenny Bowie is, but Gia starts to do an impersonation of an Asian stereotype, and the girls all laugh, and they're like, oh, this is it. So I'm assuming that that is the tea about Jenny Bowie, and that Gia is going to kill it. And that makes me excited because I like watching Gia. Even though she was really digging her own grave last week, I like watching her. I think she's very interesting. So I want to see more of her on TV, so I'm hoping that her Snatch Game turns out cute. But the gag was when Gia finally relents to Trinity and says, you can do Caitlyn Jenner, she says, it's all right, girl, you should do Caitlyn Jenner. You're Caucasian and your nose is fucked up too. I cackled. I love when Gia gets in a dig and it's like funny. Do you know what I mean? When she's not funny, she just comes off as bitchy, but when she's funny, she's so hilarious. We get to the challenge, and it is the Snatch Game of Love. Our first snatchler, if you will, is Gus Kenworthy of US Olympics fame, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember very well because I just find him pretty boring. I don't like my men to be like standard mask white bread dudes, so like I never really paid attention to Gus Kenworthy. But he's pretty, and he's here. And so we're going to do the Snatch Game. He gets paired up with Monet as Whitney Houston, Naomi Smalls as Wendy Williams, Trinity Taylor as Caitlyn Jenner, and Valentina as Eartha Kitt. Already, you all, I'm living because all the looks are amazing. I'm very, very, very excited for how this is gonna go. I'm also like flabbergasted at Valentina's transformation to Eartha Kitt. Like flabbergasted the embodiment of her, and the dress with the beading all over it and the fringe, and oh God, if I could take Valentina and squeeze out that little something special that she has and just rub it all over my body, I absolutely would. The Snatch Game starts, Rue introduces us to everyone, and honestly, I'm a little gagged. Monet's impression of Whitney Houston is not on point. Where was the preparation, girl? Her Maya Angelou was cathartic, transcendent, enlightened, but this Whitney Houston is like just Monet in a cute wig and a silver dress, going, huh, all the time. Which, speaking of huh, we can move on to Trinity Taylor as Caitlyn Jenner, who, like, okay, I don't really follow the Kardashians or Caitlyn Jenner very much, so maybe her jokes were funnier than I thought they were, but I didn't think her specific jokes were very funny. I didn't like the impression. I didn't think it, like, brought a lot to the character. I will say, though, Trinity's improvs, her asides and her comebacks to the girls around her, those are funny. Trinity is so good on her feet. And so I was living for like the little quips that she was giving back and forth when other people were answering. Wendy Williams, Naomi, I don't think Naomi's a good actress. I don't think she delivered her jokes well, but I think the jokes themselves were funny. And when you're surrounded by Whitney Houston, Monet Exchange, and Trinity Taylor sort of like lukewarm Caitlyn Jenner, then it also elevates that material. So I didn't think Naomi was amazing, but she was doing fine, particularly in the competition that she was in. And then Valentina, I'm crushed, y'all, because the characterization is on point. The jokes are well researched. The look and the mannerisms and the humor were all there, but like Valentina's jokes weren't landing. And what was really striking me was that they were all well written jokes, but they were not being used for the right questions. Like she would get asked a question and she would pull out a joke that didn't make any sense with it, you know? Or if the joke did make sense, she wouldn't really nail the delivery. Like that first joke when she was like, you know what I would like for Christmas or my birthday or whatever, I would like for you to pull my lever, Krung, pull my lever. That's funny. Like that is a good joke, especially for a gay television show. Like it's a reference to Eartha Kitt. It's a reference to getting a hand job. So fucking funny. But she just like stumbled over to the delivery. And I feel like Rue like wanted to make room for her to try again because she was like, pull your lever. And then Valentina still fucking stumbled over it again. I was so mad, Valentina. You had so much potential. Anyway, overall, I think this portion of the Snatchelorette, the Snatch Game of Love, the Snatcheler, whatever we're calling it, I think it's actually the Snatch Game of Love, was mediocre at best. And Gus Kenworthy picks Trinity Taylor as Caitlyn Jenner, and she goes over and she says, take my hand, young man, ha! And I just don't think it's funny still. We move on, and our next contestant is Keenan Lawndale. Now, I don't know who Keenan Lawndale is, but I know that he's adorable, and every time he opens his mouth, a purse falls out. And that's what I want in a man, is I want a man who just, like, is very comfortably a faggot. And he was. So I'm thrilled about this next Snatch Game of Love. Our four contestants are Monique Hart as Tiffany Haddish, Manila Luzon as Barbra Streisand, Gia Gunn as Jenny Bowie, and Latrice Royale as Della Reese. Now, I have to say, once again, I'm just not the right girl for Snatch Game, I don't think, because I don't know who the fuck Jenny Bowie is, and I also don't know who Della Reese is. However, I know that in the past, there have been obscure celebrities that someone has used in a Snatch Game and not only been exciting and funny and clever, but also illuminated for a younger audience who that person was. We saw it with Jinx Monsoon and Edie Beale, Little Edie. We saw it with Sasha Velour and Marlena Dietrich. We saw it with Alaska Thunderfuck and Mae West. So I think that this choice for Latrice is very smart and very clever, and she looks amazing. Also, I think that Manila Luzon looks fucking hilarious. That like crazy cartoon version of Barbra Streisand that she's doing is truly to die for. Like I love when you want to make fun of a person, but you also respect that person a lot, you have to push them over the edge and take every little silly detail about them and just make it bigger. And Manila's done that not just in her performance, but she's done that in her prosthetics. She's done that in like her crazy facial expressions. She's doing that in the jokes. Manila, I wasn't even ready to start talking about the challenge specifically, but like Manila is killing this. Like the jokes are funny. She's over the top. She's giving you this crazy little, oh, I'm Barbra Streisand. I can't do impersonation. Tiffany Haddish is pretty good. I don't really think that Monique is great at Snatch Game, but this is a huge improvement from Maxine Waters. So props to you, Monique, and you look beautiful. Jenny Bowie is not funny. Gia Gunn is bombing. And I'm kind of gagged. Now, I'm a white girl, and I am not nearly as trans as Gia Gunn, so it might not be my place to speak on these things, but I found her performance uncomfortably racist. And then also, she made comments to Latrice Delarise about looking like a man in a Halloween costume, and I found that, like, really off-putting, especially coming from Gia. But even in, like, 2018, like, that just sounds gross. And I don't know why she went there. And because of this, Latrice really could not keep it together. Latrice doesn't have that much of an excuse either, because, like, girl, you know, you've seen her Snatch Game, that it can get messy, but you have to hold yourself together. You have to stay in character, even when those around you are not doing well. And that's the real challenge of the Snatch Game, is not only being funny and being in character, but also interacting and improvising with all these people in the room and staying in good shape, because your performance is what helps you win or lose, and theirs has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? And Latrice really bombed at that. Like, I don't know Delarise, but I don't think that she held anything together in terms of a character that wasn't Latrice Royale, and she certainly wasn't delivering many good jokes. Keenan Lawndale picks Manila Luzon as Barbra Streisand, and I think that's the obvious choice. She really, really slayed it for me. So work. There we go. We had Trinity Taylor as Caitlyn Jenner. Gus Kenworthy picked her. We had Manila Luzon as Barbra Streisand, and Keenan Lawndale picked her. And they get to go home with their beautiful, beautiful dates. Yes. And now it's time for the Wabbit One-Down of the One-Way. I'm so excited. This episode, the theme was boots the house down. These boots were made for walking. Puss in boots. Bootsy LaFerris. Bootsy, 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 rockin' in a well. Booter in oil. First of all, Monet Exchange comes out, and you all, this is a toot for the gods. I love, like, a sporty fashion look, and I feel like Monet has this very, like, New York City urban edge to her, and that, like, the, like, motorbike number with, like, the really flat, like, sheared off bob just, like, looks so good on her. God, she's beautiful. Naomi Smalls, I feel like I shouldn't be booting Naomi so much. Like, I know she's a fashion girl, and I am not a fashion girl, but I have not liked anything she's worn on the runway this year. And so this is no different. I feel like it's like a weird, like, fantasy Ren Fair costume, and it's not even really a boot, is it? It looks like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is a boot, but it looks like a little sandal with, like, shit strapped to her legs on top of it. Not a boot. Trinity Taylor, toot the house down. Yes, God, motherfucker. Trinity Taylor. If you die young, let's say you get a silicone embolism, would you please put that outfit in your will for me? Valentina, toot, absolutely. I'm obsessed with the, like, hair and the makeup and the nude of the leather all the way down to the boot. Like, she's just one, I'm getting chills thinking about it. She's just been so, like, soft and beautiful and elegant on the runway, and I think it's really hard to do as a drag queen, and she's nailing it. Monique, boot for those boots. I think Monique has questionable taste. And I say that as someone who probably also has questionable taste. Manila, not a fan. I thought, I get it, and, like, I'm a bunny, I'm a Wabbit. Also, I love, like, pinup illustrations. Tama Finland, an amazing, iconic, gay pinup artist, obsessed with her reference, but I felt like the look was really busy. I felt like it was almost like two different things, like the bunny leather straps and then what was under it, like, weren't together. You know what I mean? I did not like it. Gia Gunn, I feel like it's a soft toot. Like, I get what she was going for, but I didn't think the shape was really flattering on her. I didn't love the outfit. I didn't hate it, though, so it's definitely, like, it looked expensive, it looked cohesive. It's a toot, it's just like a soft toot. Latrice Royale, boot, absolutely. Like, I just thought it looked cheap. The fringe looked less messy, but it was like a really messy beaded fringe. So I'm not a fan. I'm over it. We get to the end now, and Trinity and Manila are in the top two, which is not a surprise. They were the ones picked on the Snatcher of Love, and I feel like that was really the deciding factor. You know what I mean? Is that the boys picked the girls who were the funniest, and so we go into deliberation, and there's this beautiful moment between Manila and Gia about how much Gia feels like, you know, she didn't get to represent herself very well, and that she feels bad for being so bitchy, but she was sort of feeling like when you're a drag queen, everyone looks at you like you're a man in a dress, and you have to sort of play up being a man in a dress to be palatable. And not all of us are men in dresses, so I felt really bad for her, and I really loved that Manila was so sweet to her. It was a beautiful moment, and I thought it was an important discourse to happen on Drag Race about gender and about drag and about how working in the drag scene, especially when you're not a dude in a dress, can make you feel, you know? Ooh, we also got Valentina at her best, being like a little cunning politician. She was talking to Manila, and Manila was like, girl, if I were not to send you home, would you save me later? And Valentina was like, absolutely not. I challenge you to beat me, girl. That's what you gotta do if you wanna stay safe. And I was like, that is fucking fierce. It was so good. I live for Valentina. I don't know who is like writing her script, you all. I don't give a shit if Valentina doesn't win the crown. She's winning this season of TV for me. I'm obsessed with her. Obsessed. Come to Louisville, girl. I wanna work with you. We finally get to the lip sync, and you all, I am slayed by Manila Luzon. She gave such a beautiful, well-acted, like, charming performance. And I was, like, totally bowled over. Trinity was wildly overshadowed. And, of course, at the end, Manila wins, and she reaches in to her little bra, and she pulls out Gia Gunn's lipstick. And Gia was so humble leaving, and she really said some beautiful things, and I wish we had seen more of that during her tenure on Drag Race. Because I think on the show, she always comes off as like bitchy and cruel and rude and conniving, which I enjoy watching, don't get me wrong, but I think there's more to her than that, and I hope we get to see more of that in 2019. Anyway, y'all, that was the Wabbit review of this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. I cannot wait until the next one so we can get back and do some more. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'm reading all of the comments. I'm trying to reply to them all. Also, if you like what you see, you can follow me here on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Venmo at Gilda Wabbit, GILDAWABBIT. Please subscribe. Please give me a like for this video. Go follow me at other places because that's how you can support your local drag girls. And if you like me, that's the best way you can do it, and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, kids, have a great day. Mwah! Bye!